disruptive.
America that I fought for.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. It's been a fantastic day so far. So, musician Killer Mike, for those who may remember that name or have heard it before, he was a notorious voice when it came. He was a big voice when it came to supporting Bernie Sanders in 2016. He has been kind of this vocal support for kind of anti-establishment, being an artist, being a musician, and preaching for, policy and preaching for camaraderie between, the disenfranchised. And he's continuing to do so. Unfortunately, it just happens to be on Bill Maher's show. That's the unfortunate part, because you know how Bill Maher's going to be, and it just kind of shows when you have such an impactful voice and you go on to these shows. It's the same as like Cornel West going on to MSNBC, but even Cornel West is starting to, turn the other cheek. It's like talking to a brick wall, because these people don't want to hear why you are who you are. They don't want to hear what motivates you to become this political voice. They just want to hear sound bites. They want to hear if you're voting for Trump or Biden. Answer the question: Trump or Biden? Blue or red? You're gonna do this? Why this? Like, just simple little sound bites. They don't want to hear explanations of who you are, who you represent, and why you're doing so. But here's Killer Mike on Bill Maher having this interview, and listen how Killer Mike is going to put in perspective of why it's about policy and not personality. And that's something that, I try to endorse to people. Like, I don't care about the person. I just care more about what they're going to do, what kind of actions they are going to provide for people. It doesn't matter what party you represent. It's more about the policies. It's more about what actions they are going to do, because actions speak louder than words. So take a look at this.
What are your feelings on the election coming up? I mean, Biden and Trump, are you as depressed about that as most people as a choice?
My feeling is pick your policy, not your person. Find out. This is not the Dallas Cowboys versus your favorite team. This is the policies that will affect our generations for the next 20, 30, 40 years to come. So close your eyes, listen to the policies that are being pushed, and pay attention even to the people who don't have a chance of winning, because they're going to say policies you may want to push. And I would say do that, but make it policy-based.
So that means you're for...
And I'm grateful that he had that point in, is listen to the people that don't even have a chance to win. Like, because I know there's people out there that, because I'm kind of supportive of RFK Jr., except for, his stance on Israel and kind of more towards being a warmonger now. But everything else of RFK, I totally appreciate and genuinely supportive. And I know there's people out there that are smacking regular, like, oh no, RFK Jr. doesn't have a chance. It's like voting for the Green Party. How dare you vote third party? They just don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. And they even say, even in, here in Canada, we have people around here that say, like, you gotta vote liberal or conservative. Well, what if you want to vote, Green Party? Oh, Green, that forget it. Your vote doesn't even matter at this point. But those are the people that, again, focus more about the appearance, focus more about the persona than they do about policy. Because even to Trump, like, I'm no fan of the Trumpster. I've admitted this multiple times. I've never been a fan of Trump. Even when he was on that stupid Apprentice show, I never liked The Apprentice. I thought it was the most ridiculous show on television at the time, and I still think it's the stupidest show on television. But Trump, compared to Biden, Trump was definitely somewhat on the better direction. A little tiny bit better than currently what we're dealing with Biden. Definitely more so with Hillary Clinton. Definitely more so with than most of the Republicans and Democrats in America. Even with Pierre Poilievre here in Canada, like I don't like him either, but I at least support him that he's, coming forward with freedom of speech. He's protective of that. He cares about, he mentions about, homelessness. He mentions about housing costs in Canada here. That's something to mention. At least someone's acknowledging that than most of the Canadian government that's more focused on Ukraine and Israel and all the mean tweets that are on the platforms now. Like, anyway, but listen how Bill Maher, again, like talking to a brick wall, because Bill Maher is going to completely ignore that and go right to the trope.
That means I'm for black people and happy Black History Month.
But you're not saying one candidate over the other?
Hey man, my nigga, you ain't gonna get me in no trouble tonight.
No, that's your job with me, to get me in trouble.
My grandfather gave me some stellar advice sometimes. He said, son, sometimes you just got to know to stay out of white folks' business. And this time, I'm going to keep my mouth closed. I still like the policy that the old man had that I was supporting. I would encourage people to find who's supporting that policy and see what happens.
But you can't get yourself to say vote for Biden over Trump?
That's all Bill Maher has left. All Bill Maher has left. You can't even get you to say that you're voting Biden over Trump. That's all they have left. All they have left. It's like a foghorn at this point. Trump. Aren't you worried about Trump? Can't you just vote over Trump? Otherwise we get Trump. It shows how clueless Bill Maher is, because, again, like what Killer Mike is saying here is what the whole purpose of democracy is. The whole purpose of us voting is that we be acknowledged on policy. People, all different sorts of people can run into a race. They campaign on the issues. They, say what they're going to focus on, what they're going to take to the job, and what their actions are going to be, and people choose for which policy or which candidate best represents their policy. If you're for healthcare, then you vote for the person that's going to get you better healthcare. If you're more for, cutting back on war spending, then you vote for that person. If you're for, cutting taxes of the middle class, then you vote towards that person. That's the whole institution of democracy. It's not just, I gotta vote this guy because this guy's evil, according to the news. Then why even have elections? Why even have elections? Why have democracy? Why have any representation whatsoever? Like, it's such a dumb take. Oh, well, you gotta vote Biden over Trump because Trump. Otherwise, you get stuck with Trump. And then those 4 years of Trump again. Oh my God. I felt bad. It didn't really affect me, but I felt bad inside. Like, it's amazing, like, Bill Maher is so worried of another 4 years of Trump. What effectively happened with Bill Maher over those 4 years? Did he personally feel affected? Did something actually personally affect him? Or was he still the same billionaire asshole that he was always doing this show? Like, it's just so insane. It's so insane. And it just goes to show how out of touch these billionaire elites are and these talk show hosts, because they just don't care. They don't care. It doesn't even matter if it's Trump or Biden. No matter who's in office, they're still going to be billionaires. They're still going to be mooching off the establishment. They're still going to be deep state insiders and pushing propaganda. And they're going to tell off people like Killer Mike, who Killer Mike's actually listening to the people and representing the people, tell him that he's an idiot. When really Bill Maher is the biggest idiot in the world.
You want me to list it now? So now
I'm just saying that.
Can he get himself to apologize for the crime bill? Can he get himself to get his head out of his ass and say, black people, you are black regardless. I need you to tell me what I need to do. Can he pick a coalition of former people who are affected by drug laws, street gangs, recidivism and crime, and say, I need you as a board to advise me how to fix federal prisons? If he can do that, absolutely I can. So my challenge.
Bam. That is how you do it, Bill. That is how you focus on politics. God, can we get Killer Mike to host this show now? Can we do real time with Killer Mike? I would definitely pay HBO more money. I would subscribe to HBO to watch that. Not fucking Bill Maher. Oh my God. That's great. That's great. Like, yeah, maybe if Joe Biden was actually more representative of black people and minorities that he didn't incarcerate with the 1994 crime bill that he initialized because he didn't want his kids to be raised in a racial jungle. Maybe if he wasn't such a bigot, then maybe I would consider it. Maybe I'd consider the Democrats a better option. Like, again, it shows Bill Maher and the liberal bubble, the liberal establishment bubble. They only have two flexes. It's you got to vote against Trump, and if not, then it has to do with racism or sexism or wokeism or any of those words. It's just, man, how much more out of touch? I mean, let's not forget Bill Maher in 2020. Remember when he said he wanted to vote for Amy Klobuchar because he thought Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren were too far out? He's like, I like a healthy center. I'm looking harsh. I'm looking close at Amy Klobuchar. I'm sure her staple firing skills are going to be so beneficial for the working class as she incarcerates more of them. Or Kamala Harris goes, hey, a colored lady can't also do the same exact crimes that a white man does. Like, that's all they have left. That's all they have left. They think that all of a sudden, like, everyone became racist because Trump became president. But let's not forget, we voted a black guy with a Muslim-sounding middle name twice into office. And the same people that voted Barack Obama refused to vote for Hillary Clinton. Why? Because Barack Obama proved that even though he was the cool black guy, he was the white moderate Republican that everybody in Wall Street adored. He was no different than George Bush or Bill Clinton or any of them combined. It doesn't matter on color of skin. It doesn't matter of credence. It doesn't matter of religion. None of it matters. All people want is a way out of the establishment, away from the deep state, and focus on the fundamental policies, those kitchen table ideas. Remember when people said that? You gotta focus on the kitchen table ideas? Well, now there's people that can't even afford kitchen tables. There's people that can't afford food to feed themselves. There's people out there that can't afford shelter. These necessities of life. There's drinking water that they can't even drink in America, in one of the richest nations on the face of the earth. I think there's more concerns than, Trump because he writes mean tweets, or Biden because he's, But Killer Mike was on point. Killer Mike was definitely on point. God, I wish he had a talk show. Come on. Maybe we should do a coalition on that. Get Killer Mike to do like a podcast and outbeat Bill Maher. Wouldn't be hard to do.